Great ride is it, y'all? Rah, rah the day. Rah the sunrise. Ha ha! Hey y'all, hey y'all. Come on for the walk. Or get your mats, you're gonna stretch out. Get your weights, you're gonna do hand weights. Get your chairs, you're gonna do chair exercises. Stand up if you're walking in place. Line up if you're walking wall to wall. Jump on your bikes. Start your treadmill.
Power on.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Great ride is a ride today, y'all. Just a little McStiffy. Hey, y'all. Hey. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell her uncle, tell her auntie, tell her cousin, tell her friend to subscribe and exercise with me. Yeah, y'all. Oh, yeah. Whew, we here. And I still got my God. Which is me. That's what I got. Ooh, y'all. I'm sitting down this morning, vibing with the ancestors. And I said, Bibles taught in school only. Now I know the topic is Day of Life Disco, but this came up this morning. I wanted to share it with y'all. It's deep. So I said the penal states, some penal states is putting in only learning the Bible in school. And before I could say anything else, I got a vibe and said, you know why? And I was like, yeah, I know why. Because then you can get the priests and the pastors and all them folks to come in and teach the classes. You don't need educated teachers. You can like get all the Baptist preachers and their assistants to help teach the school. So again, another vibe said, do you know why? I said, because it's, hey y'all, I read your comment on the brain. Thanks for coming on the wall. Do you know why? And I said, well, it's easy to sex traffic from school. You don't gotta snatch them out the street. They're gonna come to you. And again, they said, do you know why? And I said, because they'll put beaten children in place, like in South Carolina, and we know now that that's grooming. So when they put the Bible in school, spare the rod, spoil the child is the thing of the day, but we know that's a grooming tool. Like a man beats a child and tells them your parents gave me permission, they can go back and ask for sex, and if they don't get it, they can beat the child. They can pass the child around to all the other pastors and reverends that are now school teachers, and it's easy. They can just drive up to school, the principal or any of the reverends and pastors can sign them out, and basically the John that wants the little kid can drive up to the school and pick him up. And they said, they vibed, what else? And I said, everything with these European Africans is sex and money. I said, so that's what it is. That's human trafficking. You can do it straight from school. The kids are already groomed. The person that's picking the little kid up to go an essay will tell them, if you don't do it, I'll tell your principal or I'll tell your teacher so-and-so, and they'll beat you. So they'll say, get out your clothes, and of course the little kid will strip down. And that's how they make money. And they said, no, think harder. What else? Why else would these penal states be putting Bibles, science out, biology out, anything, astronaut, all that shit is out? It's the Bible. I was like, whoa. I said, I can't think anything else. That's sex and money. That's all they operate on, these European Africans. And then I got the shock of my life. I said, no. Those kids can't count past 12 apostles. They can't learn. They need school and church in order to learn. So then I started asking Vitamin the question, well, what for? Said all those little meth babies, all those heroin babies, all those Oxycontin babies. They said, don't forget the inbreeding. And I was like, well, that's a plus for having the Bible in school. It'll help to promote incest. And that's what they do anyway, especially Oklahoma, all those red states that you see. That's why they say to look into a person's eyes, you'll spot that bad gene. That crazy gene. That gene that can't comprehend. They can't comprehend. The grandparents are brothers and sisters. Their mothers are first cousins. And so on and so forth. Now there's genes that are physical. I've worked with the mentally challenged. We used to call them the R word, mentally R word. But I work with them. They were alcohol fetal syndrome kids. That's when they started saying stop drinking when you're pregnant, because you were making kids with alcohol fetal syndrome, which is another form of mentally challenged people. I was like, yeah, I did work with them. And they said, what about the crack babies? You work with them too. You hung out there with Dr. Hale at the Hale House in Harlem before all this stuff went down with her. She taught you a lot. She spoke to you a lot about crack children and their learning disabilities. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. That's why the Bible is being taught in school. These kids are mentally challenged. They can't count past 12 apostles. They'll believe the whole thing about the Red Sea and all this. And then the other ones will be groomed for war. That's what they do in the Bible. They're going to have home economics, sewing classes, maybe. It depends upon the level of your mental ability. Now, can you imagine Oklahoma? A little kid, everybody been marrying everybody and having babies, so you got a default there. Then everybody that was marrying everybody is heroin, meth, Oxycontin, and then that's the kid. He can't count past 12. Now I understand it. Those states are trying to save their face. Those are states full of mentally challenged children and adults. So I see now why it's easy to teach the Bible. And it ain't no real problem, human trafficking, mentally challenged children. So you put the Bible in the school, so you can put the pastors and the reverends, the pedophiles, the rectum bandits. Now I understand it. They can't go to no school that teach regular stuff. Let's put it like that. These states that said they teaching Bible, and that one that said 10 Commandments, they kids ride on the little bus. The kids are products of crack, meth, Oxycontin, inbreeding. They don't even know they're alive. How can you put anything challenging in front of them? You have to put the Bible. It's what only thing that their parents ever taught them. So you have to go with what they know. You can't be throwing no math or science or anything at them kids. They mentally challenged. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Inbreed and addicted children in all those states. That's why they gotta go to the Bible. They can't learn nothing else. So they ain't gotta take no standardized tests because they ain't learning nothing for standardized. They just learning that African, black African book from thousands of years. They can't learn anything technical or anything like that. So they probably have Bible, gym, walking groups. Maybe I work with some really high functioning mentally challenged people, but they're limited in learning. So they can get to the Bible. They can sit down and listen to the Bible. They can. They was taught that by their parents for sitting their asses in them pews since they was born. So now I get it. Now I'm not mad. How else are you supposed to teach thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of mentally challenged kids who became mentally challenged through the use of hard drugs and incest? Shit blew me away. I was like, yeah, they don't want to do no standardized testing. They can't measure up. The babies who are born addicted to drugs. The humane thing to do is to teach them the Bible. And hopefully a trade. And in between you have a little human trafficking. The reverends and pastors come through, get they hit, either direct them on the front side, for girls, and life keeps going. Now I totally understand it. When you have a state where the majority of the kids are mentally challenged because of drugs and incest, the only thing you can do is put the Bible in the school as the only teaching thing because that's all they can take in. Don't teach them history. I work with mentally challenged. History don't mean shit to them. Science don't mean nothing to them. Doing an experiment means nothing to them. Anatomy means nothing to them. Nothing. So they're not going to learn. But if you sit them down, and talk to them about the Bible, because their parents put them in pews, then if you put it only in church, they can learn that. But only that. Ain't that something? Ancestors be knowing, y'all. Let me read these messages. Okay, hi. Pichu, I can't say your name. Hey, Basil. Great rising to you too, Basil. Chris, great rising to you too, Chris. Uh-oh. Killer Snowy. Hi. I hope all y'all working out, honey. Raw today, y'all. I can't mourn today, but I appreciate y'all saying good morning. That's like a few exclamation marks. I'm down, honey. Ooh, let's knock this out. So that's why they ain't letting me go. I want to go to my subject. That's why. And you see all those people in Mega? That's who they are. They're products of first cousins, brothers marrying sisters, first cousins, fathers marrying daughters. That's what they are. And it does something to you, what they call a cognitive thing. And that's why they can't reason. That's why they didn't know. I was like, why didn't they know how to come out of the sun? They're mentally challenged. And then on top of that, they old too. No wonder them ambulances had to come out there and pick them up at that. We call them truck brothers. Hey, Republican. Anyway. So now I ain't mad no more. Because I've always been I've come up with programs. I used to train the mentally challenged for vocational skills. And we had things like we have to stuff envelopes. And they didn't know how to get them, but it was a big contract. So I just took 10 pieces of tape, blue tape, and I told them it was a flyer, you lay the flyer on top of each one. When each tape is covered, you have 10. And that's how we saved the contract. So I understand. And they went to church every Sunday. On Monday when we came back, they couldn't wait to tell me, oh, Mickey, I was at church, Mickey. I was at church. Mickey, I was at Sunday school. And the Jesus. But they were very happy. So I can see you putting the Bible in these schools on penal colonies. The majority of the kids are mentally challenged through drug addiction and incest. They're just trying to save face. They can't do no national tests. The kids are mentally challenged. They ain't doing no French. They ain't doing no Spanish. It's hard for them to keep those mentally challenged kids in school to graduate. Some of them can't make it past the 6th grade. Their mind, their brain. But now, with the Bible in elementary, middle, high school, I think the mentally challenged kids will stay in there to graduate. I mean, they won't know nothing, but they're mentally challenged. How much do you expect them to know? They'll have a sheepskin saying that they graduated. And being they're European Africans, they're called whites, they'll take them in. I know I have worked for mentally challenged European Africans. I know it. I know it. But they were able to get through. And then they had the complexion. They can't read, they can't add, but they knew about the Bible. So now I don't feel so bad. That's what Texas down there. You know they running meth all through Texas. Them kids probably don't even know how to tie their shoe. Of course, put the Bible in school. I work with mentally challenged people. They relate to the Bible. They know there's 12 disciples. They can count up to 12. You say, one disciple plus one disciple equals, they may say 2 disciples, but they really ain't good with math, a lot of them. So you have to say something like, what color hair does John have? And you have to have the Apostle John. So you have to have all the apostles. You have to have blue, yellow, green, and then they'll do that. Yeah. That's why it's taught. I ain't mad no more. I totally get it. When I work with the mentally challenged in recreation, I had to find a sport that would be inclusive, that they can do, because we were doing community integration because they had just started closing down the institutions. So we had to do community integration. These are people who have been locked up in a hospital for years. So we used to do sports things, summertime sports thing. Excuse me. I have to tell you about the baseball thing, but if you go back on the videos, it's probably there. So I came up with volleyball. We didn't have Google then. I had to go to the library. I had to study up on volleyball, the rules, I had to talk my volunteers. When I came in, there was 3 volunteers. When I left, we had 40. So I had to get my volunteers, really want to do volleyball, because they're adults and we're supposed to be community integrating them with adults. And the town has a league, so there's that. I'm going to get us some practice halls, see if we can get a team together, but I need y'all to like cover the volunteers, so it's 6. So it would be, depends upon how good players the mentally challenged are. Some of them are really good. It would be 3 volunteers and 3 participants. Or it depends upon how good they are. Sometimes it would be just 2 volunteers and 4 participants. And I had to teach them how to, because that's all you have to do. That's the range of motion. The volunteers behind you. If you miss it, they'll hit it. They'll get it. And we made it fun. And they had a good time. Ooh, that was a little rough. So, I understand that we had some mentally challenged participants who were raised at home and their parents taught them how for hours to sit there and look at letters in a book. So you'll think they're reading the book, but they're just looking at all the letters. T, H, E, A, N, D, E, Q, U, A, L. It doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't mean anything to them. But you would think they're reading. I learned the hard way. We had this one girl named Michaela. Her parents were European Africans from France, Holland. And they were wealthy. And they taught her that when they take her around company, you could pick up a magazine and you start looking at the letters. So, she always had a book with her when she came on activities. And I'm talking to my girlfriend Norma, got her to volunteer. And she was also a caseworker for the mentally challenged. And I said, you know, it's amazing. Michaela can really read. She loves books. And Norma rolled her eyes at me and said, Vicky, do you ever look to see if the book is upside down? So I said, no. Like, why would I? She said, next time look. So the next time Michaela came out with us, she had her book, and I looked. It was upside down. So I didn't embarrass her or anything. I just said, hey, Michaela, what you reading? And she'd hand it to me. I said, let me see it. And she'd hand it to me. And I would turn it right side up, look at it, and hand it back to her the right way. I didn't say, girl, you got that upside down. I just said, hey, what you reading? Not to embarrass, things not to embarrass people. But now I think they should be satisfied. Well, because I am. So now you know. Let the Bibles be in school. These are mentally challenged people. These kids are drug addicted, products of parents who are addicted to drugs, meth, crack, oxycodone. Let's not forget the biggest of them all, alcohol. So there's no other way to teach them. And they're not going to say that they have tens and thousands of children who are products of addictive parents. And of course, incesting. But the unlifed disco. I was a disco person. Let me tell you something. When I left that cult in South Carolina, I can't even tell y'all, honey. I can't tell you. I miss music. Yeah, I sang in the choir, but I miss music. Not that old 1,000, 2,000-year-old bullshit. I need music because music is almost like people do. And I was in the Bootsy Rubber Band. I was in the Funkadelics, Parliament. And then when that was in Tennessee, when I was at Knoxville, and when I went to New York, I after getting married, after having my daughter, bam, disco hit. Donna Summers, Aretha came back through, Gladys Knight came back through, Michael held on, the Temptations held on, the Four Tops held on, new ones came out, Evelyn Champagne King, old ones got better, Melba Moore. Oh, and then the groups. Oh, fire. The Ohio Players. Oh, Switch. Gap Band. All those. Oh, man. Dancing all night long. And then something started coming through. That was different. Let's do 10. Tuck in your gut. Squeeze your tuck in your elbow. 10. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It was this electronic Trans-Europe Express and all these electrical sounding tones. Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, y'all. And then all of a sudden, this metallic-y sound, electric light orchestra-ish stuff, with all this electronics stuff came through. And I remember saying, whoa, wait a minute, what's that? And then people started saying, well, I call them European Africans, specifically Germans, they coming through on the disco. So I'm like, okay, long as that's a beat, I can dance to it, I ain't got no problem. Now, what I found out, squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow, neither up nor down. 1, 2. I don't know if y'all seen him, this little German guy that wears, like, what do you call it? Like when you get married, you wear these suits, but it was made like in the shape of a pyramid. And he used to have some little guitar, something like that. That was the German Africans coming through in the disco arena. That's the time Milli and Vanilli came through. Germany. Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, y'all. So, it started really getting too much because disco was just an extension of the rhythm and the blues. They were still doing Beatles, Rolling Stone, blah, 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 blah. And we was doing disco. Because the rhythm and blues, they crossed over into disco. And it was dancing and it was happy. But I'm not understanding what's going on. I see these German music people coming through with their electronic sound and that wah, 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 wah thing. That's them. So I'm not paying any attention to it. Then it was wah, wah, wah. And I'm seeing more of these European Africans out of Germany, I should say German Africans. What? I'm like, what is going on? Donna Summers, all of them slowly going. All this electronic shit, and then they Studio 54 and stuff like that. And next thing I know, they said disco is dead. So I said disco dead, but you didn't hear the music on the radio anymore. It wasn't in the spots. They closed the spots where we used to go to and listen to the rhythm and blues disco. So years later, because I'm still wondering, how the hell, who the fuck killed disco? How can you kill music? It's an energy. Can't. So come to find out, over here on this penal colony, we were not allowed to do our own music. They weren't burning albums. Artists had to go through a lot to get an album burned, and once he got that burned, he could only afford a few of them, and the radio stations wouldn't play anything coming from us because, again, they ain't got no African in them. So if they don't play no black music, then they clearly don't have no African in them. I don't understand how you world powers be talking about these people are ingenious. I don't get it. I ain't nothing about them. So it was the German Ethiopians that came out of Germany into Israel, into America, and they found a way to make money. They can do them, the African American and black artists can get their music done. They can make the albums for them. They can get the studios up for them. And they made all the money. So there's, other than Barry Gordy, he was the only one that was representing African American artists and doing their music through Motown. But other than that, it was all German Ethiopians. You call them Jews, but they are German Ethiopians. They are African. So then, when the Germans from Germany came over here with their disco music, a fight was brewing, but we African Americans didn't know. The German Ethiopians did not want the German Africans from Germany to make any money in this music field, especially in disco. So the German Ethiopians started canceling black people's disco contract, started canceling them, started putting them out to kill off disco, because they didn't want the German people coming straight from Germany, straight into America with their music. It's a war we didn't know nothing of, but this is going back to World War I, World War II, the Germans fighting each other. We didn't know. They started canceling Donna Summers. They started canceling the Ohio players. They started canceling contracts, stopped burning albums. And then these German Ethiopians declared that disco was dead. And they started shutting down shit, but it was just to stop the Germans. German Africans coming straight from Germany into America, into their disco world. And they're making money. German Ethiopians said, no, we're the only ones who are going to make the money, and if we can't make the money, we're going to shut it down. So if you look at Unsung, they don't even know. They're like, what happened? What happened? And they just stopped. What happened? All of a sudden my music wasn't anything. What happened? They didn't know that there was a war between the German African and the German Ethiopians. The disco. And the German Ethiopians on this penal colony won because they started not signing contracts to African American singers, songwriters, etc. And rap saved us. Rap saved us. Rap made sure they would never be able to do that again. Never be able to do that again. They became producers. They burned the albums. Yeah, you call them gangsters. They saved our music. Because a war between the Germans, German Africans from Germany, and these German Ethiopians on this penal colony, we didn't know there was that war. We thought our music wasn't no good. We thought the times had changed. Go to Unsung, you can listen to them. They had no idea that it had nothing to do with none of that. These German Ethiopians were not letting those Germans from Germany come over here, get into the disco arena, and make money. Barry Gordy in Motown was the black producers. There was other little ones. But when rap came in, rap took our music from the hands of the German Ethiopians and put it in our hands. And I ain't never gonna be mad at rap. Never. Never. This German war bullshit, we ain't never experiencing that again. You go look at Unsung. They was like, all of a sudden our music was nothing. All of a sudden they wasn't signing our contracts. All of a sudden they wasn't making our records. All of a sudden they didn't realize that the Germans from Germany was bringing their artists into this country and putting them into the disco arena and making money. And the German Ethiopians that are already here had that on lockdown, and they weren't going to share. So they stopped producing our music, they stopped signing contracts, they stopped everything. And then they said disco was dead. That whole Milli Vanilli thing with the pantomime book. Honey, if you don't know these German Ethiopians, I was born in East New York with them. Our whole country is ran by them. Honey. They did it and they'll do it. I know other songs, but the only one I can really remember that y'all with Trans Europe Express. That was the Germans coming in from Germany. And rap saved us. Yeah, Puff Diddy, scumbag, but still, from him, other producers came about that aren't scumbags. They're very talented producers. We were able to start putting our music out and producing it ourselves and keeping the money for ourselves, though they didn't know what to do with it, but still, it was for ourselves. And they made sure that we'll never have this disco incident again with our music. So we just changed it from disco to house party music. They kept the music pumping, kept the party going. Yes, honey. The rappers, the gangsters saved African American music. The German Ethiopians, they cut disco. They didn't want the ones from Germany coming over here with they used, oh, I know what they call it, and I would hear that. They say the German invasion. I'm like, the German invasion? I'm like, okay, I'm rocking, okay, I can relate. I hear that metallic music, I know I ain't got no bass. I don't hear no bass. I ain't got no beat. But I'm discoing. And the German Ethiopians said, no, we control black music. And we'll show you how. And they started casting Atlantic, all them freaking shit things. I could see the album covers. But, so, next time you, definitely African American, women, especially baby boomers my age, we went through the disco phase and we was wondering what the hell happened to it. It was in the hands of the German Ethiopians. And when they started fighting with the German Africans from Germany, the first thing they did was cut us off. And they said we killed disco. But as they call it, that's why I call it Generation Promise. If these rappers you call gangsters and they had not come through. But you see, they did come through. That's the beauty of it. Because music is an energy and it will go on, especially our music. It'll go on. Okay, like rap now, hundreds of years later, it will be European Africans made through all, everything. Just like classical music that they call now. That was African, English, Europeans that put that together. That again why it was so scorned. It was scorned. These European Africans that, everybody went to see it. It was so wonderful. And the music and the kings and the crowns. No, it wasn't. It was the rap music of that era. So, but that's what happened to disco. But our music, it'll never happen to it again. You'll never get a chance, you European Africans. You'll never get a chance to pull that bullshit again. So, that's why you gotta let them go. They always fight amongst themselves. But in the world of disco, when they fought against themselves, like I said, the Germans from Germany, the German Africans from Germany, because the black Africans from the continent, they came from Germany. Black Africans from Germany, and the German Ethiopians here, it was fighting. But the only casualty was African American disco music. And then the rappers came, and they put it under their names, and they put it under their protection. And we ain't got to worry about that shit no more. But it all started because we couldn't get our music produced here. Couldn't get our music done, we couldn't get it on the record. I mean, I'm telling you, my mother had albums. She didn't have all of these big albums. Maybe she had like 5 or 6. They were so worn because you couldn't get them no more. That was somebody that did something that burned it, that got to somebody. So you had to play it over and over and over and over again. And then when the German Ethiopians came over, they said, hey, we white, we can do it for you. Donna Summers and Champagne King, Evelyn Champagne King, Melba Moore, so many of them. Men's group. Go look at Unsung. You hear them all say, all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. They weren't signing my contracts. They weren't doing it there. And then they started telling me disco was dying. No, they killed it because the Germans from Germany was coming over with their music and making their money in disco. And the German Ethiopians said, no, we control the black people's disco music. So they just started canceling contracts. Canceling contracts, canceling contracts, canceling contracts, canceling contracts. Of all the disco people, all the disco people, they started canceling, canceling. And then German Ethiopians said to the Germans, now how you gonna make your money? They got rid of all the disco people. So say what you will about Suge Knight, Puffy, Diddy, who else? Jay-Z, who else? Dr. Dre, running them, running them. Though they're a low-life production company, Sugar Hill. Gotta give Sugar Hill their props. They're low, but give them their props. The people I'm naming, they saved vestiges of disco, of our disco. They didn't let, I would cry down like that, they didn't let those German Ethiopians totally destroy. That's why they kept taking, I would cry sometimes. That's why the rappers kept taking little pieces. They would take little pieces from the disco and put it in their rap. They was just trying to save it. They was like, here, I got your mom. Here, I got your dad. Hey, grandpa. Hey, old school, I got you. I'm going to put you here. And it was wonderful. Because we were in the middle of a fight that we didn't know that was going on. The German producers, music producers, record producers from Germany was bringing their music and artists on this penal colony and making good money. But the German Ethiopians on this penal colony, who contracted all the disco people, said no. No. We will kill disco before we allow you to make a dime. These German Ethiopians here, yeah. Because they had all the contracts for disco, soul, music, blues, because these European, Africans, thumbs on this film, because we couldn't have our own record company. We couldn't do that. We couldn't do that. So when German Ethiopians came from Germany to Israel, to this penal colony, they saw that as a way to make their money. And then there was World War II, III that we didn't even know about because it was happening on the fields of disco. These German Ethiopians told them German Africans from Germany, you is not bringing your people over here and our disco music and making money. That's the Nilly Vanilli crew. Those are the German producers. There's a lot of them. A lot of them was making money off disco. We didn't notice it. We were just dancing. But the German Ethiopians did. And then they just started canceling contract. No more disco. No more disco. What are you saying? I say disco. No more contract. 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 All the greats, they signed because that's the control they had over the music industry, the black music industry. But then the rappers came through and the gangsters came through and they took it. Yes, they did. They saved it. Yes, they did. And every time I listen to rap, I hear my disco. And in my head I say, that's why I ain't mad with these. I don't call them generation, I call them promise. And they saved us. And they saved disco music. So, oh, that wasn't the ancestors, that was me. I have such a passion for music and I cried like a baby when them German Ethiopians destroyed disco. Anyway, like, comment, share. I don't see any new highs. Like, comment, share. Oh, did I say thanks for coming on the walk? Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend to subscribe and exercise with me. Thanks for coming on the walk and have a great day. See you tomorrow.